and it says slide presentation. Well, if you click on the slide presentation, it comes up. Okay, and you could do that, and you can, run the presentation. But what that means is that all the information I have here today, all the different links that I'm clicking on, you can go back home without taking a single note and go, okay, there's this one thing he said that I want to go back and click on that link and figure out more about that and how can I do that, okay? This is a replacement for PowerPoint. This is Google's slideshow. And, it works just like PowerPoint. I tried using it at the last meeting we did, Linda, and it was up on a screen where we had a projector, and PowerPoint came up looking pretty good, but the slideshow didn't. I think the slideshow is much better on a monitor than a projection screen, and I think it's going to pick up much better with a camera. But when you get home, you don't have to even look at the video and go back and try to figure this stuff out, because you won't be able to click on the video. You can just go back to the website, the Santa Barbara RIA website, click on the links there and get exactly to where it is you want to go. And making that stuff is nothing more than something like a Google Doc. And it puts it into a slide presentation and away you go. So this is really easy to use, easy to make, and easy for you to get home and go, okay, where was that? I want to get to that. So that's the high-level conversation AI. Really, really good. I haven't spent a lot of time using it, but I will as time goes on. And if you're the tech type person and want to get involved, great. If you say, Dan, I don't have the time, I don't want to deal with it. I look at what happens through life, and what I realize is that when you're 30 and 40 years old and you have kids, that's the toughest part of your life that you will ever have. Because you don't have the time to do this. You don't have the money. You got a full-time job. You got enough time to get lunch and run back to work. You got kids. You drop them off at school. You don't drop them off barefoot and say, well, they're barefoot because we don't want to go into credit card debt. We just don't do that. We go into credit card debt if we have to. My wife and I were never in credit card debt until we had kids, and we're still trying to get out of it because it's a bad habit. But we're getting there, So, there's a time and a place to do things, and boy, if you can make it in a marriage and get through that 30 and 40 and still be together, you might be together for a long time, So, you just got to kind of pick your balance of what you can do and where, okay? There's something else that I use, it's called HubSpot, and it's a computer relationship management program. And you've probably heard of Salesforce. Very expensive. We've had people come into our meetings and say, Dan, I want your help in getting a property, renting it out, managing it. And I said, well, what experience have you had so far? Well, I went to Salesforce. And I said, what did that cost you? $45,000 to go through their training. I said, for $15,000 you could have got a property with me and you would have learned real fast how to deal with that property. You wouldn't have had to go to, do that. This is not as expensive as Salesforce, okay? But I'm thinking that it's still probably more expensive than the other one I just showed you. So just something to think about as you move forward. I've been using it, I think it's good, but there are companies I've been listening to that say, we had this that we were doing for other people through this conversational AI. It was so good that we just dumped everything we were doing and went on to conversational AI because it was so good. Okay. So let's get out of that, come back down here. And now, here's something for phone automation. Okay. And down here, it shows you how that interface looks and how it works. So while it's doing this little thing, you can watch that, and I'll tell you a little something about phones and phone automation. And there are private lenders out there that you probably have seen, Linda. If I mention the name, you'd probably go, oh, yeah. One of the things that this private lender, who's pretty big nationwide, said, if you have a business and you're answering your phone, you need to stop doing that. Well, when you say that to a realtor, they're like, you're crazy, I'm going to lose my business. I'm not going to stop doing that. So there's a type of business you can do that in and a type of business you can't do that in. where you have to be there all the time and you have to answer. He said his reason was, as a private lender, the person who makes the call establishes who's in control of what's going on, and the person who answers the call is kind of at the effect of everything. Okay, that was his point. My point is, I don't care who's in control or who's not in control. I care more about my time and when I want to do the business. So what I do is I use this program, and if you were to call up my number that's on these bills that were here I put on the table, just pick up one of those $1 million bills, look on the back of it. This is my business card. It's got my number right on there, and the number goes right to this automated system. Okay, keep the bills. That's your first $1 million for today. And what happens is there's two ways of this happening. One, how you doing, Trevor? You made it. All right, you're good. And you got your laptop?
I do.
You're all ready? Okay.
I'm ready, yeah.
Give me till 11 o'clock. I'll step down. We'll get you up here plugged in, and away you go. Okay? Thank you for making it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. 1031 exchange. Trevor's going to be talking about that in just a couple of minutes. I'm taking longer than I should before we get on to vacant land, but we'll get through it because we don't have Paul Wilkins. So I'll have more time to kind of fill in the vacant land and also the personal power project. So what happens is I never answer my phone. And I've had some realtors that are really good friends that I've sent deals to, and they've given me cash for referrals and whatever, you know, how much of that's legal and how much it's not, especially because I'm... Exactly. She knows it well. And so I quit even asking people that anymore. I didn't even go down that road unless I'm on a contract that I can assign. That's a whole different story, okay? But in any case, this guy was just beating me up going, why don't you answer your phone? I call you up and you never answer. Well, it's intentional. I refuse to answer my phone, my personal cell phone or my business line, because people can leave me information. And guess what it does? 8 out of 10 calls, total spam, total scam, total waste of time. Everybody wants to, sell me shoelaces or, a wheelbarrow or something that I have no desire to talk about at all and try to get off the phone. I don't have to do that at all. I know who is serious and who's not. Everybody who's not serious, guess what they do? They call, they hear the message, they hang up immediately. Anybody who is serious that wants to do some kind of business for some reason, they leave their name, they leave a message, if it's a call, or they text me, and when they text me, I immediately capture their phone number, just like I do if they leave me a message. If it's an unsolicited phone number, which you know who's calling you on those, it even says down below there, we're looking for the spammers and we're just cutting them out. And I won't even return that. Sometimes I'll say, sorry we missed your call, give them a link or whatever. Maybe 9 out of 10 times they'll get back to me and they're a serious person who I could have lost, okay? But at least I'm not spending a whole lot of time wasting it with those endless phone calls. They just drive me crazy. That helps me in the kind of business I do. That probably will not help most realtors at all. It'd be like, no, my job's over. So you really have to be careful about how you implement this and where and why, okay? And that used to be called Open Phone, and they changed the name to Quo, Quo.com. But, in the right place for the right person, there's two ways it works now. They had something called Sona, which is AI, and they're implemented it. They've had it now for a couple of years, where when people answer, when this answers, they get AI immediately, and you can just ask AI whatever. I've got it set right now to, if you want to talk to Dan, just press 1 and immediately leave a message. Because he's not here, he's not available. I could be sitting there looking at it, and I'm not available. I don't care, I'm not going to answer it. And the other way is to go into the AI mode. Well, the AI mode, they recently came out, because I looked at it, I went, that looks pretty expensive to me, I'm going to have to wait. They came out and they said, okay, we're going to let you have, credits, 1,000 credits per month, and then every new month, when your credits are used up, you're going to start with new credits again. I used up my 1,000 credits in 2 days. I'm telling you, that thing, when people can call up and go, hey, I don't care if Dan's here or not. Can you tell me if there's any monkeys on the moon? And they would just go on and on and on. And guess how soon your bill would go up at that rate using AI like that? And I just went no. And mine basically defaults back to the non-AI mode when that's used up. And it says, if you want more information, stay on the line. And then it says, you know, press 1 if you want NH-Big, and it explains what NH-Big is. Press 2 if you want Santa Barbara RIA, and it explains what that is. So there's all that stuff that you could listen to if you want to, where most people are like, I'm going to press anything. I'm not even going to talk to you, I don't care. I was trying to sell him something anyway. Great. We can both move on. But this has really, really saved me in my life in a big way. I just can't tell you how much I enjoy using that. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes away. I'm going to shut this thing down. We've got YouTube, another form of advertising. This is my YouTube channel, and there are, well, I guess you could look and see, there are 769 videos. I have very few subscribers because I don't really spend that much time trying to run that business and make money off of YouTube, but it does help. It's interesting to see some of the biggest people out there that have like 22 million followers. Super Blondie, and she sells the highest end cars to the richest people on the planet. But she's got lots of people working for her and lots of interesting things that have to do with even electric tractors or whatever. You know, there's a lot of stuff on there. And you look at that and you go, 22 million? There's not another person that you can think of that you go, well, I know somebody really famous that's probably got more than her. I'll tell you right now, they don't. And you can just look at YouTube and see, you know, well, just how many subscribers do they have? You can find out real quick. But in any case, there's a ton of videos on here, 700, almost 800. It goes back. Some of it's a personal power project, some of it's interviews, some of it's Linda and I at, you know, excuse me, things like this. So that's there. There's also Facebook. We do have a Facebook site for the Santa Barbara RIA. And the nice thing about the Facebook site for Santa Barbara RIA is you can post your listings. If you have a listing that you want to get out there, it's free. Just go use it. You become a member, it's free. Just like being a member of the Santa Barbara RIA, it's free. We had a company from Las Vegas, Anderson Associates, which is a big accounting firm. And they do a lot of things for a lot of people. And they wrote up a special thing about different RIAs around the nation. And they said, the one in Santa Barbara run by Dan Ringwald is one of the only ones that we know of that videos everything they do. They put it all up on YouTube for free, and you can be a free member. It doesn't cost you anything. And I thought, oh, okay, that sounds good. So there's a link to that up there that talks about that too. So we do have that. I think that we're real close, and I'm kind of through with the Santa Barbara computing. I know you guys have probably heard so much about AI by now you don't want to hear anymore, and we're going to move on to the next after lunch. And after, we'll move on to vacant land and then on to the personal power project. But if you do have any questions, anybody? Okay. Okay. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to get Trevor up here. He's going to get his computer. We're going to test some things and make sure it works, and then we'll get this going. If you want to take a break, go out and get something, now's the time to do it. Okay? Okay.